away we go. It's Chicken Dinner 011, and we're live on a Thursday night heading up to a weather-filled game, perhaps, in the middle of Middle America between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. And has this total been on the move or what? Open 42 on Sunday night. And now we're sitting 36.5 and 37. Lots to get to, including just how over-exaggerated weather reports can be, generally speaking. If you've ever watched the Weather Channel during hurricane season in Florida, you know it's never really that serious. And we also have noticed that these 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts are nowhere near 40 miles an hour anymore. It's more like 15 to 18. So be careful if you're blind betting under in a game that was supposed to be horrible and unbearable, and you can't grip the football, and the wind's going to blow balls out of the stadium. Doesn't really look that bad. In fact, Kevin Roth, who does a lot of weather for the NFL, he didn't even rate this on the orange scale. Red is drastically serious. He didn't even put it at orange. So we'll discuss that game as we do most of the big games here on Chicken Dinner. Great guest list today. We're going to talk a little college basketball with Tom Casale from Sportsline. He does college hoops and college football. And Tom, like me, has probably been betting since, 11 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. That's when James Madison and UIC tipped off. It's feast week. We got games all day the next few days. And, of course, the big tournaments are going to start next week. I know Tom has a couple of futures he's played already, and we'll see if there's one that I know he got a good number on. I still think it's a little right. And those of you that have been watching this show for a long time know that a few years back, we had Kansas before the season started 22-1. I usually pick a team around this time, around Thanksgiving. 3 seasons ago, it was Kansas. They win the national title. 2 years ago, it was Texas. They get to the Elite Eight and have a 15-point lead on Miami. Fell apart. Miami wins. Miami to the Final Four. That one put us in a good spot. Last year's team, picked them in November. They got hot going into the tournament, and then they lost to Oakland in the first round. Of course, the John Calipari-led Kentucky Wildcats. They got too sexy. That's what happened. They beat Tennessee. Everybody fell for them. I was on them in November, and I lost in the first round. So a little bit of good, a little bit of bad, and the truth always with this gambling content is probably somewhere in the middle. So we'll talk to Tom at 7:15. You know him if you're on BetStamp as Big Blue Bob. You know him on Twitter as Bob Lupton. If you're in one of his classes at UConn, I'm sure you enjoy his metrics, his statistics, his political science courses. Bob is also traveling the world during college football. He's always at a new stadium somehow. He's bouncing around the SEC, and then you see him at a Lions game in Detroit. Professor by week, rabid sports fan, and better by night. So he'll join us at 7:30, and then at 7:45, I'm being told on location again, Corbie will join us. He always brings us the numbers. This kid's made us a lot of money in college football this year, but he's diving into the basketball. In fact, one of his totals is going off, I believe, in 5 minutes. Syracuse and Texas. That game, let's see if I can pull up today's card real quick. I don't know if it's tipped off yet. If it has not, you can probably get an under 156. I know that was his play, Texas and Syracuse. There's Texas State. There it is. Has not tipped yet. He liked 156 under. 761 Q, 762 Texas. It was supposed to tip at 7. Now I'm looking on my television. I'm in the office today, as you can see, not in the other room because there's been games on all day. Apparently it's on ESPN News, and it's going to tip any minute now. So he bets him under 146. Market mostly 155, 155 and a half. So if you can still get down, go for it. That's one that I'll probably play live as well. We'll see how it starts. But he likes Houston, Texas under. And Corbie, of course, makes his own models, his own numbers, and his college basketball has been very good so far. And he's awesome with totals. A lot of people like sides. He's playing totals. And we'll see what he likes for the week ahead. Also a busy weekend in college football. But that was the college play that he loved today. Under 156, Syracuse and Texas, and you can still pop it. I wanted to quickly, before we move on, because I'm sure some of you saw the video about Dan Patrick saying Sammy P got hot. Sammy P went 14-3. That shit really doesn't matter in terms of streaks. You know, it's awesome to go 14-3, but then you go 2-5 on the weekend. And we can't always pump ourselves up when we win. We have to take our medicine when we lose, but holy shit, some of these losses. And I don't want to dwell on losses. It's already Thursday. Last weekend's over. But you lay Notre Dame 21.5, 22. They're up 35-0. Virginia scores 2 touchdowns at the end, including one with 18 seconds left to lose by 21. That one sucks. Tennessee plus 10.5. They're in control first half. They don't score second half. Georgia scores 2:28 to go up 14 and cover. Raiders plus 8. They're down 5 with 3:30 to go. McDaniel calls the play action. Tua throws the 57-yard touchdown pass. You're down 5, 3:30 to go. Dolphins are running out the clock. Okay, that's 3. And then the worst, the cherry on top, Chiefs teasers. Down 2, 4th and 2. Bills get 2 yards. The game is over. The game's fucking over. Josh Allen goes next level. The MVP favorite rumbles into the end zone. Touchdown Bills. Bills by 9, crushing Chiefs at 8.5. So those are 4 games that all went against me in the final, let's see, 18 seconds, 2:28, 3:30, 2:17. What are the odds losing all 4 of those covers? It's tough. And then you got to get up the next day and go on your show on Monday morning, BetQL Daily. Hey, who do you like Monday night? This is such a humbling thing. Those of you that bet, you know these beats happen. I'm not making excuses. It's tough to deal with. When you lose games in the final minutes, those are obviously much worse. I gave a bet out Friday, Houston plus 3 college football. They got smoked. They scored 3 points. That's a horrible pick, obviously. When you lose a swing game, though, with 2-3 minutes to go or 18 seconds to go, it gets in here. And you got to sometimes step away from things like that. But that was tough. So I did put the picks out. Let's see if I can share these right now. I do like Notre Dame again. I'm going back to the well. Some people won't want to do it. I understand it. But I had to. Notre Dame minus 14. Number has come down from 17 on the open. So Army Love drives it down to 14. Okay. I will play it back at 14. I'm not going to get hooked here. Can't get hooked when you're laying a big fat number at 14. So I do like Notre Dame. Michigan laying points is a problem, and that's a low total against Northwestern. So I look at that number at 10.5. And remember, this is a game that opened a little bit north. It's like 13, 12.5. Missed the best of the move, but I think this is a game that could be Michigan by 4, by 7. I like Northwestern with the points. Taking Auburn plus 2.5. Great spot. It's so funny how this works. When we watch these bracket shows, well, what happens if A&M beats Texas? What happens if Auburn beats A&M? The line is only 2.5. And I was talking to a bookmaker in Vegas, and he takes a lot of money line players, sharp money line players. He took a big bet, a near 6-figure bet on Auburn money line. And I heard that, and I thought, yep, that's enough. Circle it, because I had Auburn on my list. I put together a list every week, and you got to whack some of these games off. I like Auburn. Cowboys plus 10.5, big number. Commanders defense, nothing special. Daniels healthy, question mark? I don't know. And there are a lot of people that don't want to bet Dallas. I get it. I haven't played them a lot this year. 10.5 against that defense. Yeah, I'll take 10.5. I like the Colts as well. Now the Lions are Super Bowl favorites. And for 5 weeks now, odds makers and bookmakers have told us that they continue to raise the Lions power rating. They keep covering, keep moving the number, raise the rating, bump the spreads. Now they're laying 7.5 at the Colts. 7.5. Not that high. Not for me. And then, I don't love the Rams. Eagles minus 3 at even money. I believe that's a top 5 defense this year. Now, some of the advanced metrics, Sumer Sports has them top 4 in terms of EPA per play. This is a run defense that was 32nd in the league last year. And we've been on the Eagles big picture. I got Eagles NFC, Barkley, Offensive Player of the Year. He's now favored. Knock on wood, whatever. I think the Eagles are the second best team in the NFC, and I don't think it's close. Couple things on the board. We have to talk about this move on San Francisco because they came in on the Niners early this morning, but that got blown right back. And when you see a move get shoved this far back, It really should open your eyes. So here we go. 269 San Francisco and 270 Green Bay. So this opens Green Bay 1.5 and slowly gets bet up earlier in the week. Gets to 2.5. 2.5 started going away this morning. Okay. So 2.5 goes to 2, goes to 1.5. Well, what popped up on the injury report? Brock Purdy, questionable to play Sunday night. This is a Niners team that some people just refuse to lower the power rating. And I have a story coming out for Fox, I believe tonight or tomorrow morning, about bettors noticing that people remain bullish on San Francisco. People bet on what they're perceived to be, what they maybe were in years past. But you look at this injury report, boys and girls. Bosa, Purdy, Kittle, Trent Williams, the left tackle, Travarius Ward, the corner, has been away for personal reasons. You know they've got Hufanga on the shelf. They've got Hargrave. Hargrave is hurt, torn tricep. This is a team, I use the queen on the chessboard analogy a lot. They've got a bunch of queens that can do a lot of different things. Brandon Ayuk's another one. How many queens have they lost this season? And I understand when healthy, that's a monster. That's also a Super Bowl loser that is just battered and bruised right now. So that move this morning, 2.5 to 1.5, look at this. Shoved. 3 Circa, 3 Superbook, 3 South Point. Offshore, you're climbing right now. You got 3, 2.5 minus 120, 3 and 3. I'm not saying I like Green Bay, but I'm just very cautious of San Francisco. And think about this, just when you put your numbers cap on for a second. So the Chiefs were 2.5-point dogs at Buffalo. Okay? Made sense. Tight game. Chiefs down 2, as I told you. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes and change. Did you see the line for San Francisco at Buffalo next week? 3, 3.5. So, wait a minute. The Chiefs are only a point better than San Francisco right now? That's not right. There's value. A lot of people are finding value betting against San Francisco. Did not cover against Tampa. Lost outright to Seattle. And a lot of people are thinking, well, they'll bounce back at San Francisco. Will they? Will they bounce back? Market appears to think not. Moving that from 1.5 to 3 on Green Bay today. 270 Green Bay. Just worth paying attention to. And the last thing, I went on a show on Monday in New York with Alex Monaco for MSG, and they asked a bunch of NBA futures questions. And it was, who do you like for MVP? And as we know, the Joker is a maniac, averaging a triple-double. He's 2-1 at some books, right? 2-1. SGA, 3-1. Tatum is rising. He's about 455-1. Then you get to Anthony Edwards. Then it was Luka. And these guys are all in that, 10-1 range, Edwards and Luka. I went down the board and looked at this guy right here. Pow. Giannis. Monday, he's 40-1. Basically everywhere. There were some 30s on Giannis. Okay, look at the board here. Prop shop. Best price right now, 30-1. 28 at DraftKings, 25 at Caesars, 20 at MGM, 11-1 at FanDuel. Look at that range. $19 range on Giannis. Now, look, I'm not taking credit for that. That's not what happened. That was certainly aided by Luka going down today. And Luka is out indefinitely for those that haven't seen. They're going to reevaluate him in a week. So already you have 2 of the league's best players on the shelf in terms of MVP, right? Embiid. Embiid's not winning the MVP. And here's Luka out of the way. You got to win 65 games or play 65 games, to win the MVP. Luka's probably not getting to 65. So Luka gets hurt. We're on the show this morning on BetQL. Giannis is still 30-1 everywhere. By the end of the show, Giannis is down to, again, 28, 25, 20, and 11. Don't bet the 11. Please, for the love of God, do not bet the 11. NBA MVP has to be a great player on a really good team. So we pull up the standings, right? How far back is Milwaukee? Well, they were 2-8. They were down here. They were in this range. Oh, look at that. Oh, they started to crawl up a bit. They're 6-9, 10 seed right now in the East. The fucking 6 seed is 7-9. The 4 seed is 9-7. Give them till middle December. They're going to be on line 3 or 4. Think about it. Who has a higher power rating than Milwaukee in the East? Okay, I'll give you Boston. I'll give you Cleveland. I'll give you the Knicks. Anybody else? No, of course not. And Giannis, oh, by the way, is averaging 32 points, number 1 in the league right now, 12 boards, 5th in the league, and 6 dimes a game. 32, 12, and 6. For a team that sucked out of the gate, but is slowly picking up steam in a very weak East. What's the storyline if Milwaukee wins 50 or 55 games this year? Look at how Giannis carried the Bucks. And most importantly, what's the most important part of this whole conversation? What is the number? What is the number if the Bucks get hot? This guy's 8-1 before the season, by the way. 8-1, 850. And you can still get a 30-1 or a 28-1. Maybe a 25-1 if you don't have as many outs. But as you can see, this number is running down. So those are my thoughts. I would still wink, bet Giannis at 30-1 or 28-1 because I think by New Year's Day, there's going to be one book in this country that has him at single-digit odds. Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. As I welcome our first guest tonight, Tom Casale from Sportsline. I hear you had chicken for dinner. Is this true?
Yeah, I didn't even do it on purpose. I had chicken for dinner, then realized I was on chicken dinner. I mean, you can't beat it.
I noticed, too, over the right shoulder, the flag is different. I don't know how long you put the Gonzaga flag over your right shoulder because you had some football flags. Was it Army or Navy? Who'd you have before?
It was Air Force and LSU I had up for football season, and then I changed it to Gonzaga because I bet them 30-1 to win it all, and then my Maine flag, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's Maine basketball. Who doesn't love that?
Maine and Vermont, very efficient year after year after year after year. So, okay, let's start there because you bet Gonzaga, and you talked about this on our show a couple days ago. You bet Gonzaga April something, early April, and I want to say 30-1. Why did you pull that trigger?
Well, it's getting hard. Remember a couple years ago, I had the Creighton at 100-1 on the opener. So I always like to look at a team that might be mispriced. Now it's harder because of the transfer portal. You just don't know what's going to happen. But I thought at the end of last year when Gonzaga got hot and I was looking at them, I was like, geez, they got a lot of people returning next year. And I don't think they're going to lose a lot to the transfer portal. And then once they got Ajayi from Pepperdine, who's another scorer, another guy who can do a lot of things, I really liked that pickup and didn't think they would lose a lot. So I said, geez, 30-1, that doesn't seem right to me. I didn't know if they look spectacular early, but I just thought, they would be more around 10-1, 15-1 when the tournament started. So I took a shot on them.
Obviously, the value is mostly gone. I would never ask you the very dumb and rhetorical question, do you still like Gonzaga at 13? But Gonzaga's not like other teams. And what I mean by that is they're going to get to this non-conference, and it's not really the toughest in the world. You look at Alabama's and go, there's a tough non-conference. But you brought this up, and I don't want to take any thunder for it. You said that Gonzaga gets through November, December, as they do every year, and they lose one game in conference. And they pad their record, and going into the tournament, they're going to be 29-4 or whatever it is. This number, even at 13, and I know a lot of guys last year that bet UConn at 10-11, and I thought, bad number. And then they get to the tournament, and they're, them and Purdue are minus 200 to win the title. So I understand the big move is gone, and you're one of the few people on this planet that have a 30-1. For somebody that missed the boat, is it still worth a flyer? Obviously a smaller bet, but 13-1 on a team that probably is a 1 seed, Tom.
Yeah, that's not a bad. Again, it's sometimes I've taken early numbers and they've been terrible bets, right? You're trying to weigh your options and weigh the odds. I got a good one here with a team that should at least be in contention at the end of the year. So I like where I'm sitting. But I mean, listen, 13-1 isn't like you said, having a 13-1 on a 1 seed isn't the worst thing in the world. Here's the one thing I'll say though: if you look at the upcoming schedule, Okay, they have West Virginia, then they have Kentucky and UConn back to back, and then on December 28th, that's the last one. They play UCLA. So those 3 games right there are teams that could potentially beat Gonzaga. So you might get a slightly better number, especially if they lose back to back to Kentucky and UConn. That's kind of the sweet spot right there, December 17th and 14th. After they play UCLA on the 28th, you can forget about it. Then they lose one more game the rest of the year, and as you know, the odds aren't going to change if they lose once to St. Mary's. But yeah, I would say probably, I don't like to be greedy with odds. I like to get the best odds like anybody else, but to me, I think the ceiling's going to be 15-1. So 13-1, 15-1. You can maybe roll the dice that you get a 15-1. But to me, I'd say 12-1 is the low. Anything 12-1 or higher, I think you're going to have good value in March.
Let's talk about this Kentucky team. You and I went into the dance last year. I convinced you to bet Kentucky last year, and you said, I don't know. And then they started to put it together in December and January, and you said, all right, I'll bite. I think you bet 25-1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Got a better number than I did at 22. And your big concern at the time was the coaching. You even said, I'll never forget when you said, I don't like their coach. And it's not a personality thing. It's a schematical thing and an adjustment thing. And I'm watching this white bomber from Oakland hit 10 threes in the tournament on my birthday to kill my bet and break my bracket. And I thought, Tom was right. He couldn't adjust to Golke. Well, we've already seen, I believe, a bump in coaching with Mark Pope. And the video has gone viral. Mark Pope describing to a T what Duke was going to do with Cooper Flagg on that final play. He said, if he spins into the lane, we got a man there. And Flagg spun into the lane, got it poked away. Kentucky wins. But where was Calipari on the grade scale, A through F? And where's Mark Pope? That's how I'll phrase that question.
Yeah, listen, Calipari is obviously a great recruiter, right? But I've used this analogy before. If you watch the movie Miracle, and when he's picking the team for the U.S. hockey team, the other coach said, you don't even have some of the best players. And he said, I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. I feel like Kentucky recruits the same player over and over and over again. It's the same guy. Not, you know what I mean? It's the slasher. It's the guy who's going to hoist up a bunch of shots. They just haven't had a good mix the last couple of years. And what I like about this Kentucky team is, first of all, they're older. I think, that's why I like Gonzaga too. I think older teams now in this transfer portal area have some value. And they can do different things. Like I just think there's more versatility with this Kentucky team. So, I don't think Calipari's the worst coach. I do think in the last few years, his in-game adjustments have gone south. I don't know what it is. Maybe you just get older and you lose something. So I would say, B for Pope and C for Calipari if I was rating it. I just think Calipari's the guy. Like if you say, tell me some guys to recruit. But again, I just don't like the versatility of his teams. They got to play a certain way, and that hurts you in March, right? Because in March, not everything's going to go your way, and you're going to have to adapt. Who does that better? No one does that better than UConn, right? UConn run you off the court. UConn grind you to a defense. They don't care. They'll beat you anyway. And I just think that kind of versatility is what you need to win.
Who's a team that the market might be high on, the polls might be high on? Not that the polls matter. Polls don't matter to me. Power ratings matter to me. But who's a team, top 10, top 20, market's high on, polls are high on, you are not high on?
Okay, so there's a couple. We'll see. The first one I wasn't right last week, but one was Purdue. Like Alabama has those games, right, where they shoot 15% from three or whatever, and they give up 90 points. It's just the way Alabama plays. They didn't make enough threes, but I just think Purdue is a little overvalued in the market. We'll see if I'm right tomorrow. I feel like Arizona is a little overvalued in the market. I think Duke might take it to them, even though that's a true road game. And listen, I like Kansas. I think Kansas is a good team. I think they're a lot better than last year, but I don't know if they should be like the favorite to win it all type of team. I still think there's some weaknesses defensively on Kansas and shooting the ball. We'll have to see how that goes in the rough Big 12, but I do think they're a little bit overvalued right now.
Any bets tonight that haven't tipped off? I'm sure, like me, you've been betting college all day. I went in after losing UIC +3, trying to watch it on Baller TV.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am not paying $5 to watch this shit. It was UIC James Madison. So I'm listening, and I used to call those games, those UIC games. And I'm listening to my old partners, and the feed is falling in and out, and I'm listening to UIC Flames basketball, and the signal's awful. I was not going to pay $5 to watch Baller TV, but I did start with UIC, and then after that, I bet Drake. Drake won outright as a 10-point dog somehow, some way. We got a lot of action, though, tipping off the rest of the night. Anything that you loved earlier or that you're playing tonight?
Well, Drake won because it wasn't the NCAA tournament.
Oh,
so they didn't give up a 10-0 run and a 9-2 run. Last 2 years, 2 covers guaranteed. They give up a 10-0 run, they give up a 9-2 run in back-to-back years. And imagine having them both years. That was a lot of fun.
Couldn't be us. Nope, couldn't be us.
But no, I had FAU earlier. I just, they were a slight dog when I took them, and I thought they should have been about a 3-point favorite. So I went with them. Tonight I didn't play anything. I do lean Tennessee a little bit. I hate to give up that many points against Virginia. I don't know where Virginia is yet. That's why I didn't play. I got to see a little bit more of them before I bet against them. And, I think that Memphis-San Francisco game, that's one of those games where I think everybody feels the same way on how it's going to go. And I think it's going to go that way. I think you're going to see a lot of points. I think both teams are going to get in the 80s. And again, now listen, if one team shoots 2 for 19 from 3, then that's a different story. But the pace will be a back and forth kind of pace. So I think you're going to get some points and some opportunities to maybe even live bet that game.
Give us a bet, will you? Come on. The people are craving a bet tonight. They need some action, Tom.
All right. How about the Memphis team total over? How about that? You got that on the board?
Yeah, I can get you team total in 1 second. Let it populate.
I like team totals.
We got Memphis at 78.5 right
now.
Yeah. It's moved up. They're going to score 80?
Yeah.
76.5 if you have a Pinnacle account, which I don't think many people do. I don't know why this hasn't populated yet. I'm surprised we don't have any numbers on the rec books. 76.5 Pinnacle, 76.5 offshore, 78.5. So, okay, you like them to get.
I like that to be a very fast-paced game, back and forth. I think Memphis is going to get to the hoop a lot, which is where they're at their best. Memphis doesn't want you to grind them down into a slow-paced kind of game where they got to take jump shots. So I think this game plays to them much. We talked yesterday about the Alabama-Illinois game, right? And I said Illinois going to play Alabama's kind of game. And they're going to run up and down the court with them and let Alabama do whatever they want. I feel like San Francisco, Memphis is going to be a very similar type of game.
Let me show a couple comments here, and then we'll bring in Bob Lupton. This is from Brewhand Luke, who says first, and then he also says Ole Miss to make the SEC championship game ticket still alive. Yes, it is. So are the bets on Ole Miss at 35-1 going into the Georgia game. I know some people bet that as well. So if you did, good on you. From Jake, great guest today. Tom Casale is awesome, and of course the great Corbie. No mention of Bob. So we will straighten that out. I don't know why Bob didn't get any love there. Alex Smith, Bach, Hockey on TV, Chicken Dinner on the phone, LFG. And this is from Nino. I wanted to wait for Bob to get here. I didn't know, Tom, if you had any looks on the game. Nino wants to know point blank who you like tonight. And I assume that is about the NFL game, as the UConn professor emeritus joins us now, Bob Lupton, on Chicken Dinner. I don't know why I said emeritus. I got nervous and panicked.
I don't know if they'd give me that if I do retire here. So I think that's probably premature, but we'll see.
So you for 2 years have been just saying, just bet UConn to win it all, both years. And as square as it was, it won both times. I have no money in the futures. You have all the money. What's the drop off for UConn this year? How do you feel about their title potential this year?
I mean, I don't know if there's much of a drop off. You can't account, I don't think, for missing Klingon, but I don't know. Like I've said before Thanksgiving, I relied strictly on Tom to make all my bets, and that's why my account is healthier than it will be now for the rest of the year because I've just been relying on him for basketball. So, but I mean, I see him awesome. I'm going to see him in person for the first time. That Baylor game here in stores on the 4th. So I'll get my chance to see him in person. But I think they're going to be awesome. We'll see.
Tom likes Zaga quite a bit. I would love to see a Zaga UConn regional final, although they'll probably end up on different sides of the bracket. Let me ask you about UConn, Tom. They've won back-to-back. What's their ceiling this year?
Yeah, same thing. The thing about UConn, though, is I think holding on them might be the way to go because I don't think they're going to be as dominant in the regular season as they were last year, where they just kind of mowed through everybody. They had a couple games they lost. I think as the new pieces come together and this is a UConn team, I think by February is going to be really, really good. So you might have a couple of losses along the way that bumps that number up a little bit. I'm actually looking at them. That's a team. I only have 2 futures. I might add 1 or 2 more throughout the year. It's Auburn at 28-1. It's Gonzaga at 30-1. But UConn and Baylor, he mentioned, Bob mentioned that game coming up. Those are the other 2 teams I'm looking for with potentially a better number as the season goes on.
UConn as high as 10-1, as low as 7-1. Baylor's sort of a good buy right now. Baylor to win the national title, 40-1, 30, 28, 28, 25, 20. So there's another team.
That's not bad.
The Giannis range earlier for MVP. Hell, that's a bigger range. Well, not a bigger range because Giannis is 30-11. This is 40-20. Well, actually right around there, right around 20 on both. 40-1 on Baylor, huh? That seems like a bet that should be made. Bob's writing it down. I love it.
I'm taking notes, man.
See those eyebrows go up? Well,
I told you I'm taking notes, man. It's just time talking basketball. You make money.
Well, you've been so busy traipsing around the country going to all these football games. How do you keep everything in order? Where were you last week?
I was in Athens, Georgia. Yeah, it was between the hedges. It was awesome.
Oh, that's right, because I saw you tweet something about Georgia covering at the end, and I was holding Tennessee. That's right.
Yeah, everybody was, but it was a time for kids to get right back with their passes 20 yards at a time over the seams, those tight ends. Oh, it looked like Brock Bowers never left.
It looked like a bet that was going to win for 3 quarters, and then it did not. Anything, Tommy, before we let you go? Anything tonight in NFL? You can pass if you want.
I think it's going to be an ugly game. It's I think it's going to be a game that the books make out on because people like to bet overs and props, and I feel like it's going to be an ugly one tonight. But I do like I said, Duke tomorrow night. If you can get them plus 1.5 points, listen, Duke's one of those teams. Kind of don't matter who the sharps bet because listen, they're going to be favorites tomorrow. We know that the public money with Cooper Flagg just going to be piling in on Duke. It's going to offset that sharp money that comes in if they comes on Arizona. But I would expect Duke to close at a 2.5 point favorite. So if you can still get them as a dog, I like that value.
Go follow our friend at the Tom Casale, college football, college basketball at Sportsline. Got a Gonzaga ticket that is not as nice as yours, and I hope that we are sitting pretty. Just get us to the Final Four, and then
that's it.
We'll
take our chance. Yeah, get us to the Final Four. That's all I ask.
If we draw Oakland in the first game, though, I'm jumping off the house. That I could not handle that again. No way. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Our nightmares with Texas and Kentucky are over. Don't worry. We're on to bigger and better things now.
Somebody texted me the other day. Kansas was nice. Kansas was also 3 seasons ago.
Yes. I know.
Yep.
I'm feeling the pressure now. Geez, I had that great Creighton run. They almost made and now it's been a couple seasons since Kansas won it, and I got to take that victory lap. So I got to produce. You know this business. It's what have you done for me lately? They don't care about 3 years ago.
No doubt, man. Thanks for hopping on.
All right, take care, guys. Have a good night.
All right, there goes Tom Casale, which allows us to bring the professor full screen. Let's pull this game up, Bob, because it's very polarizing. I tend to agree usually with Tom about the public liking the over, but I'll tell you what, man. Sharps came in, bet this game under early in the week. It was a weather game. It started moving Monday morning. It got down to about 36. Then it was bet back up, hit 37 again this morning, and it's sort of settled at, call it 36.5, 37. But I think there's more bets actually on the under because people are reading a little too much in that weather report. And I told this on my morning show today. I said, I oftentimes watch the weather report during hurricane season because my parents live in Florida. And you got the people on TV saying, "Oh, you're all going to die."
Yeah.
My mom's like, "Yeah, a tree branch fell."
Yeah.
So I never, on Tuesday, the rumor was 40-mile-an-hour winds. Now it's
Yeah.
10 to 15. I don't believe it's going to snow. So
Yeah.
weather clearly not as bad as once initially predicted, but Steelers 3.5 total. Let's call it 36.5. Any bets?
Yeah. So I bet the over initially at 35.5. And so I like that. Like I said, I never really watch weather reports. I don't prepare for weather. I admit that. It's like I used to lose so much money on those damn Maction games. Or say there's going to be 50-mile-an-hour winds in Bowling Green tonight, and it's going to be crazy. And then it never is, and they go over by 25 points. So I haven't paid attention. I know wind is the one factor that really can deflate a total. It just seems like I know the game's going to be 6-3. Browns will fumble 8 times, one into the end zone. It's Mike Tomlin and all this, AFC North, just misery. But I think Jameis keeps both teams in the game, right? I think their offense is better with him, and you're going to get strip sacks, the Watt strip sacks, and good favorable field position for Pittsburgh. So I thought it was a little short. So I played over.
Yeah, you got a better number than I did. I got 36.5 this morning. They were all running down. All the 37s were going away last night. And then this morning you started to see that buyback. And it's worth understanding. Superbook opened this total. Got to go all the way down here. They opened it up on November 12th at 42.
Wow. Yeah.
So if you are going under 36.5, you are betting a number that has moved almost 6 points. That is certainly worth understanding. It's never the end all be all to say that you have to bet over the low numbers and under the high numbers, but I don't think there's a lot of sharp money betting under 36.5. I don't think that's the case. This number is also so low that there's really no margin for error. 17-17 now, Bob, is a tie.
Yeah, right.
And assuming it doesn't land on a tie, somebody's got to win it. So
I know Hopkins will miss a bunch, but Boswell never misses. Maybe now he's not at home, so he'll miss by the other lake. But I just think it's very low total. A lot of ways we can get over here, and I think some of it was people still stuck on the old Steelers offense, which by some voodoo magic of Mike Tomlin and Art Smith, it's better, with Mr. Unlimited Russ. So I think it's short, but
Dan saying on the chat, it sneaks over on a defensive touchdown. Hell, we'll take it. I don't care how.
Almost surely, yeah.
I do not care how it gets over. All right, so busy weekend ahead. I see you're putting in work in the office still, so not sure how many bets you've made. You always put your plays on BetStamp, and you put them on social media.
Yep.
But is there a bet that you've already made or bets? Maybe something you're going to bet closer to kickoff.
You talking NFL?
Could be NFL, could be college. I know you bet on
Yeah,
both.
so I have several on both that I have played. I like our Seattle Seahawks on the money line at home against Arizona. I think Seattle's getting healthier. I like their matchup. I like Mike McDonald's defense against Kyler in that game. And I am actually, I was going to ask you, your Chicago Bears playing better, although they got everything in the world right for them last week, and they did get the cover at Green Bay or against Green Bay at home. I'm leaning Vikings even at the 3.5, but I wanted to see what you thought about that idea. It seems square. I know this, but just Flores against what I still think is a pretty bad Bears offense.
I don't think square sharp matters in the NFL anymore after this season.
The way we've been going, yeah.
I'm in a pool where I have to pick 5. I'm in a couple of those, a couple in Vegas and a couple back home. And the guy who is in first place right now doesn't watch the NFL. And I thought that makes perfect sense. He's not overthinking it like I do every week. I don't know, man. I'm in a Chicago pretzel because I laid 6 with them against New England. And that was obviously a horrible bet. And then I said, I know Chicago's going to keep it close against Green Bay, but I couldn't pull the trigger. And the 6.5s on Monday, I wasn't ready for that on Monday, because you make a bet on Sunday for Sunday, and then it just dissipates.
Yeah.
And then on Monday, Chicago 6.5 stares you right in the face, and you go, I can't. I don't want to look at it. I
But
can't.
it's like, I feel like such a coward. I didn't take it either. And then the game just tight, low scoring. It's just the most Green Bay Chicago Soldier Field game you've ever seen in your life.
I know. So let's play this forward. As somebody who did not bet them against Green Bay, I don't want to be the guy that takes 3.5 and they lose by 4, because then I will completely lose it.
Okay. You're out on Chicago. I
can't do it. I can't do it. But I lean under in the game, 39.5. I don't like Darnold against their defense, and I don't like Minnesota's D on Caleb. So I think that's where I'm at, under 39.5, but I have not made a bet yet.
Maybe I do end up playing the 39.5 under instead of watching the Vikings win 2017, and then I will have had to watch the mess. But then I want to ask you what I'm thinking of also. You are the king of the grotesque NFL underdog side.
Yeah, I got 2 of them this week.
I was looking at New England Patriots getting 7.5. Drake May. Keep it close, baby.
Look, there's a lot of money in the market on the over. So it opened 43. Now it's 46. When people bet over, they imagine both teams are going to tango, if you know what I mean. That's probably a good thing for Drake May. Early in his career, they were starting to short. They were betting unders. Now they're betting overs. And we know that Tua in that offense looks a lot better than it did a month ago. So they bet over, which would basically, be read as both teams are going to score. If both teams score, I would think it's a closer game. So I lean with you. I did pick up Drake May in fantasy.
All right.
Not that anybody cares about my fantasy team. I know you don't, but I did. I bet Dallas, dude. I took 10.5. I hate it, but I did it.
I bet Washington 10 because my whole strategy is just Dallas unmitigated disaster, and I'm fade to the hilt, and it's been good. I think it's a good spot but I like the Washington team total over. I got 27.5 better than the 10 that I bet Washington, but I just think Dallas's defense is just unmitigated.
Oh, it's horrible.
So
it's horrible. I watched though. I was sort of impressed with the way they moved the ball on a pretty good Texans defense. Now they didn't. There's a difference between moving the ball and scoring, as we know. They only got into the red zone, I think, one time, but 20-20, they moved it pretty well for 3 quarters, and they were in that game until all of a sudden they weren't very quickly. And I think that's my big fear, is that they're down 3 and then they're down 17 and then I'm dead.
Yeah, I would say there's a chance to move the ball effectively on this. I think, middling at best Washington defense a lot. They got a little love in the market there a few weeks, but they're mid. I have them in the middle of the pack. I can't get involved with Tommy Cutlets at all. I won't bet Dave Canales' side. I know, Chiefs on the road giving 10.5, whatever it's down to. I don't like that. But I won't bet against my Lions, but I'm certainly not betting them 7.5 at Indianapolis.
Ooh, man. Every week the story is the same. You call Vegas, the bookmaker says the same thing. We made the spread, we made it bigger. We made the power rating, we made it higher.
Exactly. You can't.
We keep going up, and they keep delivering. And it's not to say that a team can't go 13-4 ATS.
Right.
You're a numbers guy. You do statistics. How many times can they keep raising the number and the Lions keep clearing the number?
Wade, you're just putting them. You're gonna power rate the Lions 7 or more versus an average team on a neutral. It gets crazy. It's like I really can't even process it because my fandom is overriding what I see. That I think I know the Lions are awesome, but I just can't even process how actually excellent they are. So I'm gonna be in Michigan this weekend. I'll drive down to Indianapolis for the game. I have no interest in 7.5 though. With Colts getting healthier and Anthony Richardson, I think bringing an extra element for them because he's not only the big plays in the passing game, the potential as good as Downs has been, but also he helps Jonathan Taylor a lot too in that run game. So with Anzalone out, hard to turn away from a Colts bet this week if you're interested. But
okay, you just heard it. I don't know if he meant to say that, but he basically got there. He just said bet the farm on the Colts. That's sort of what I heard.
Do it. And then, of course, Lions will win 38-6, and they'll say,
I don't think so. Look, when Mr. Lyon says he's not betting the Lions, that's an eyebrow
I know,
raiser for me.
it's every week, but it's just tough spot.
So you're doing okay. So you're in Connecticut during the week, and then you famously travel on the weekends. I dropped my phone. I think it's fine. It landed on a carpet. Whatever. If it's broke, we'll get a new one. Are you doing Michigan Northwestern Saturday, and then Lions Colts on Sunday?
I don't think I'll be at Michigan Stadium. I think I'm going to be watching all games. Maybe I should go for the alma mater and watch them get bowl eligible. Hopefully, it is a banner day for Michigan. I'm glad you brought it up, Sam, with the Bryce Underwood flipping allegedly to the Michigan Wolverines from LSU. Thank you, Brian Kelly, for being a terrible person and a bad coach, and all my LSU losers have paid off.
That
it's great news.
That, unfortunately, though, I think it keeps Sharon Moore there. How do you feel about that?
Not awesome, but I like to believe in him, and I think with new coordinators can be better. I chalk it up maybe to growing pains. Not a big fan of the staff. I have to say you were right about it. I think in an earlier episode you called him a zero. I took exception to it.
He's a zero. I mean, what are they, 5-5?
I was wrong about it. I'll say it. I didn't like the a zero, but I think it was right.
Well, I also, despite saying he's a zero, I took them +8 against Texas, and you knew that was over at half. You knew it was over at half.
It was very bad. We got it back on that USC miracle, but that was just about the last. They did cover the Indiana game when I was in the rain at Ole Miss down at the Grove. They did manage. I didn't watch a second of the game, but they did cover at Indiana. So good job, Michigan.
So according to Luke, there's allegedly, he puts allegedly in parentheses, another 4-star LSU receiver about to flip to Michigan. Okay, so he can recruit, or they have the money to get players, but
they're coming up with the money. I like to believe the in-game stuff. Maybe that gets better, and maybe we chalk up a lot of the uncertainty with the roster and the quarterback mess to Harbaugh leaving. A lot of excuse making, but it's going to be a big offseason, that's for sure. You got to get rid of Wink and Kirk Campbell. I mean, just awful coordinators. But
I know you might not have an opinion on this, and we'll let you go pretty soon. What do you make of Ohio State, Indiana? We know Sharps came in today, and I want to get this right because this was 13.5 the other day. And I was on the phone with a guy who bet Ohio State up. He laid 11.5, 12 early in the week.
Yeah.
So he was a part of that move. And once they ruled out McLaughlin, Ohio State center, he said, fuck that, I'm out. And he grabbed 13.5 at a bigger position. So he laid a good number at 11 or 11.5, but bet a much bigger number at 13.5. This is now, Bob, this is 10 at Pinnacle. This is 10 at Circa. It's 10 at Superbook. These guys came in and blew up 159 Indiana today.
I'm really surprised it got down to that 10. So I'm on that Ohio State early number side, by the way. Before the McLaughlin news, and I guess everything you read about it and you watch Ohio State's key to the whole operation, especially running the football. So I'm in trouble. I have no interest in Indiana at 10. I mean, I can't. God bless him. Signetti's awesome. I would love nothing more than for Indiana to go into the belly of the beast and win that game at 10. I don't see.
Sure. No, they'll lay 10 back too. I mean, it's going to come back. There will be some bites on 10. I mean, you're already seeing offshore go back up to 10.5. But look, Circa and Superbook and Pinnacle and BetMGM and DraftKings are all 10, which tells you without telling you, come bet us Ohio State. we're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready to take your bets on 10. And
they want
probably
that time. I mean,
probably closes 11. That'd be my guess. 11, and I mean, by kickoff, by noon Eastern on Saturday, I'm going to guess 11.5.
Yeah, and I'd still be surprised if Ohio State doesn't win by 2 touchdowns, but that's why they play the game.
Wow, from a Michigan man.
Yeah, you just condition. I mean, they beat these bad teams. It'll be like slow going. Probably Indiana scores first, 3-point, 4-point at the half, and then that third quarter, 2 touchdowns, maybe an interception, and that's how I see it. Typical Ohio State against bad teams. Although, I mean, they didn't manage to pull away against lowly Nebraska the way the Cornhuskers have been sliding. So maybe not. Hey, look, love to see Indiana win the game outright. But
all right, buddy. Well, safe travels in your trips to Michigan and then to the big Lions game. Lions are Super Bowl favorites, by the way. Still weird to look up and see them.
Betting favorite. Incredible.
I don't know that it's right, but I know that they are very good, and I know that they've made you a lot of money this year. So
they have, and then just hopefully joyous. Just keep rolling, and maybe we'll get the Super Bowl ticket paid by the time.
If you want to follow, check Bob out at Robert N. Lupton, Lupton. As I said, safe travels, make money like you always do. You can find him on BetStamp. What is it? Big Blue Bob? What's the handle?
Go Blue Bob 7.
Go Blue Bob. I thought it was Big Blue Bob. Is that an Instagram handle? I don't know. All your handles run together.
Different, but yeah, go Blue Bob.
The boys on Instagram out here in Boston love it. Well, you met the boys when we were out at the bar. They love you. You're their favorite.
That was the night of your Illinois triumph over Iowa State.
Oh, man, did we have a bomb on Illinois that night.
You guys had a bunch on it, which, I had Iowa State, but I was rolling in the Connecticut money, so I was happy to get the free drinks from the whole crew. That was great. Yeah, you guys were a blast.
All right, buddy. Tickets. Thanks for joining us. Back to work.
Thanks a lot.
See you, Bob.
Yeah, on the flip.
Bob tags out and on location again for the 3rd week in a row.
There we go.
Guest room in parts unknown. I believe stepped away from dinner to join us. Somebody texted me at 7:55. Or 6:55 rather. It's 7:52 right now Eastern. Is Corbie coming on today? Question mark.
Let's go. We're here.
I said, well, he did join us from a gas station in Alabama last week. I imagine he will make this work. I have been doing this show. Obviously, I don't know how our total is between Houston, Texas. How are we? 71 at half. So that's a good start.
Yeah, I think it's right on pace. Actually, was unaware because I was eating dinner. I was unaware that it was halftime. We might be able to do like oh yeah, we're good. We're good on pace. We're 5 points under. If you want, hey, first off, do I sound good? I brought a mic to dinner, Sammy. I've seen, me.
You just put it in front of your face. That way
all right, we'll hold it. Hold it. But
I mean, it's like Ryan Whitney on Barstool. Ryan Whitney's just taking the mic and moving it around. These are, by the way, the new sauces at Pepper Palace. This is a blueberry barbecue sauce, which is very, very good. And then you saw me 2 weeks ago chug the honey chipotle rum. Ooh, the hot sauce, the barbecue sauce, outstanding. Promo code BALK, by the way, pepperpalace.com. Save 10%.
There we go.
Yeah, shameless plug. So you gave us, and I told everybody at the top of the show, under 156.
Okay, you already talked about it. Cool.
If anybody is it
didn't
tip until 7.
It's good live. Looks like my number live. We're at 144.8. Syracuse kind of a little bit of a hot run at the end. 3 with 6 seconds left. So seeing a 150.5 is fine live. If you didn't get it start of the show, Texas, Syracuse live or second half under, I guess 150.5 is plenty fun.
See, I was actually thinking, what if I bet some over 80.5 and middled it?
I don't think it's worth it. I mean, Syracuse. I don't know if you watch the start of the game. You're doing a show. Syracuse started
nope. I barely even had a drink. I've done nothing but talk.
I shouldn't have been watching it, but they were preparing dinner. So me, Sammy. You think I'm gonna help make the mashed potatoes? No. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch the Syracuse.
No, I make the
game.
money. I make the money.
That's
I don't make the mashed potatoes.
I think it was like 14-0 start the game. Syracuse just stinks. I don't think this team's good. So feel fine with an under there. I wouldn't middle this. So there's that. I know we're going to talk football. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you, Sam. It's going to be – I talked about this last week. I had one bet last week. It won, boys. That's a whole different story.
I forget. What was the total that you gave from the gas station? I can't even remember.
Houston, Arizona, under.
Oh, that's right. Dead under. Houston scored 3 points.
Dead under. Yeah, it was easy. I'm not going to lie to you. We had one that last week, and it's kind of looking the same this week. I haven't even bet a total. I'm going to have one for the show. But Sam, let's talk a little college basketball first. Actually, we get a few things to talk about. Because do you know why I was going to Birmingham? Do you remember why I was going to Birmingham?
Your brother was on Shark Tank and crushed it.
Absolutely crushed it. So shout out to him. I had to talk about it a second because that's why I
No,
was
give us the
traveling.
cliff notes because not everybody knows. We got 970 people watching live, so here's a
Let's
chance
go.
to explain what happened.
Yeah, so my older brother owns a sweet tea company. He started it in our basement. It's a long, prosperous journey. My mom would probably laugh that he sells tea and I gamble on sports. I'm definitely the least favorite of the two sons. But no, he went on Shark Tank. I would highly recommend. Yeah, there's the plug if you want it at this current moment. He does not need a plug, but he will gladly take it. It went on Shark Tank. It's my brother's like live stream. You know, we all wanted to play sports. He always wanted to be on Shark Tank, so it was cool to watch. And I was nervous for him, obviously. And he went out there, and I'm talking, Sam. If you watched it, he couldn't have knocked it out further out of the park. He Aaron judged that thing. Like it was incredible to watch. Probably the best reaction I've ever seen from some sharks. Season 16, episode 5. Like skip forward like 40 minutes. It's on YouTube TV. You can go watch it. Darian Craig, Shark Tank, y'all sweet tea. So great for him. They got a deal with 2 investors. Basically got every ask they could want, and they're pumping the gas right now. We talk every day on the phone, and we have not talked the last 2 days because he's just been, as you can imagine, he's been a busy guy. So super cool there. Nobody cares about that.
We discuss. No, I care. So
all right, hit me with
we're going to talk about it. I do love, though. I have to poke fun for 1 second. At the top of the website already, your boy put "as seen on Shark Tank" at the top of the.
Yeah, it has to.
It's
no, Sam. Sam, you think that's bad? Go to shop now.
Okay.
Or probably bestsellers at this point.
Shark Tank bundles.
Yeah, Shark Tank bundles. You all right? Listen, it's funny to poke fun of, Sam.
I'm not poking fun.
Hey,
well, I was actually. I kind of was.
Guess how many Shark Tank bundles they've sold in the last 3 days? I know because I'm the little brother. 20,000. So
20,000.
So
I'm about to buy some right now. I'm going to buy some on our show.
Don't just leave your stuff behind. Don't dox yourself. We'd hate to see old Sammy piece of dress. Yeah, you might want to start.
Oh,
you might want to start covering other stuff at this point. We're playing a dangerous game.
Come find me for all I care.
Yeah, there you go. You take it off the screen and do it. I'd hate to be the guy that got you in trouble. But yeah, it was a crazy weekend. He had a whole party set up. Insane. So that's always fun. It's always fun to win the bet. Now, the only reason people care is to bet on sports, right? We have the Texas under. All right, Sam, let's go college basketball first. I know you've been talking basketball on the show. Casale, by the way, great dude. Love Tom. Yeah, I haven't done a ton with him, but I have enjoyed my time working with him. We did something for Hit the Books for a minute. All right, let's go to the 9:00 college basketball games
tonight. Okay.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow's. I thought about giving it tomorrow, but that's just a dangerous game. We got 900 live. You are going to move the line. I'm not going to be able to bet it, and I'm going to be pissed at y'all. All right, let's go to 7:31. Yeah.
Air Force
Cal. Give me the over. I see
136.
Yeah, cool. 36 is what I was really hoping for. All right, it's been 37 all day. 36 is fine with me. 37 is honestly fine, but I can get 36. I want the over 136. Basically, man, I cannot talk. It's all that dinner I've been eating, Sam.
It's the mashed potatoes for sure.
I tell you what, I'm prepping for.
Writing this down. 731 over 136. So I don't forget because I will forget.
Yeah, same. So basically, like a few things. First off, like if you've watched Air Force, they are slow as hell. You go look at the games they've played fast teams last year. They've kind of played the pace because they're not good enough to really go slow. We see like a Utah State game last year twice. They got sped up. The big issue here is they don't have their best player, Bo Becker. He got hurt in the JSU game, I believe. I could be wrong there, but he got hurt. Sprained his ankle pretty bad. He's going to be back like mid-December. Air Force is really like slow to bring back injury people. They always have been. But as a team loses their best player, like I don't think that the market, at least on these really small games, can like get the curve of exponential growth of the rest of the team. Like, you take out the best player the first 2 games, you're going to look rough. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. I mean, 5 games into this point, Sam, like we've got some offense going. We've got a couple guys playing. They scored 71 versus Belmont. Like this is a team that still not good. They can still use their best player, but like you're going to get significantly better game over game. And I'm not sure the market can pick up on that. B, do they care to? Like, this number hasn't moved at all. I can't imagine anyone's betting the Air Force Cal game without information. So take the over 136. Feel plenty fine there. I made it 141. So in college basketball, that seems like a ton, but it's just really not, because this game is going to be a blowout. No one's going to foul. It'll be interesting. I get 136 is fine. I'll take it over there. Get our Texas unders home. Get some Air Force overs. Have a fun weekend, Sam.
So I have to be very careful here because I will dox myself. But I will show you. Here we go. Share this tab. Thank you, Sam. You can have my confirmation number if you want it. There it is right there. But I am a purchaser of y'all sweet tea. I got the extra large Shark Tank bundle.
You'll love it, dude. It comes with a peach flavor. That's the best seller ever. We sold 10,000 bags in 35 minutes when the peach first came out, and my brother was worried that, like, we had never sold flavored tea. We were worried, like, is anybody gonna like it? 10,000 bags in 35 minutes. It's kind of what made this whole thing be like, hey, we got something actual here. So super cool. If anybody's watched like Duck Dynasty, were you ever a Duck Dynasty guy, Sam?
I was not. I was betting.
I wasn't either. But everyone knows like Cy Robertson. They all know, like, at least in the South. My brother was with Cy Robertson do a podcast today. So super cool.
Wow, he's crushing it.
Yeah, I'm like last year, I think I won Son of the Year. You know, like I had a pretty good year last year, moved down to Florida, was feeling good about myself. And then my brother definitely won Son of the Year this year. He's also having another baby. He like announced it at the Shark Tank. I was like, come on, guy. Like, you can't double me up on babies. Go on Shark Tank. I'm certainly losing Son of the Year this year. So always fun. Love him to death. All right.
No, congrats to him. Also, hold on. Alex is saying, got to make a cocktail with that tea on a future show. If you don't think that will happen,
the peach would be great.
I'll put the peach in the vodka and then maybe supercharge a high noon up.
There you go.
What I tend to do.
Hey.
Okay, you said football. You got football.
Yeah.
Your totals this year are 12-6.
12-5, Sam.
12-5. Oh, sorry, gave you an extra loss. What do you got?
That's crazy, honestly. Okay, this one's gonna be tough. I don't have a rotation number. I have my projection, and I believe I know what the total is. Go to the Fresno State Colorado State game. We're so close to having a bet here. We're gonna take it for the show because this is a show. Damn it. I have bet a little myself.
44.
Oh, this steamed under today, Sam. I have not checked this out. I've been college basketball busy. 44 would be a play for me. 44.5, plenty fine. Anything under 45, give me the over. We'll do 44.5. Over 44.5. Plenty fine with that. Sam, you want to know what my number at week 13, how far off I am on this game, which kind of scares me, but it's okay.
Let me guess. You are about 6.8 off.
Oh, man, you did too much math for me there. I am. All right, one second. I can tell you exactly. What did we get, 44.5?
Yes.
Did you use my own projections? That's crazy.
I did not. Dude, I'm sitting here.
6.2 off, Sam. That was a good guess.
Yeah. Well, come on. Give me some credit here.
That was impressive. Cross and throw 45. I will take that. I think at the end of the day, like, this Colorado State defense isn't good. They like to play fast. I bet Fresno overs for a minute now. I bet the Fresno Hawaii over. I think that was on the show the other day, probably 2 weeks ago. And in that game, if you watch the game, soared over. Great bet. But it was throwing down rain, and it did not stop Fresno at all. Like, this wasn't I know rain doesn't really hurt totals if it's soft, but this was like you couldn't see through the camera kind of rain. And so I think Fresno, even though they went over, probably got a little, well, I guess not enough regression. 44. I'll probably go post this in a minute, but very good bet, 44.5.
Okay, so that's going to move once it gets posted and retweeted. So there you go. We'll give you, let's call it 5-10 minutes now to bet this over. 225, Colorado State, Fresno State over. Call it 44.5. You can bet that flat at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you can. That's 44.5 is super fair. I was surprised we didn't get any sides you tried to wedge in, because you tried to wedge in a side last week. It did not come home. I told you, no more sides.
Hey, also, I didn't even bet it either. I meant to bet it. And I think you're just rubbing off on me. Also, I haven't been betting college basketball sides. I've only been betting college basketball totals. And I think that might be my demise. Sam, let's try something. This is a good Thursday intro to see if we could do college basketball the next day. You know, like, let's see if these 900 psychopaths by tomorrow, if we're going to move this line too much and we just don't want to ever talk about college basketball.
I
the next
love
day.
looking at this board when it lights up like a tree. Look
Give
at
me a
this. Isn't that
second.
beautiful? All the red,
Oh, it's
yellow, and
great.
green. Oh, it's beautiful. What do you
All
got?
right, let's 1 second. I got to pull this up. I don't even know if there's going to be numbers available.
You should have some
college.
openers up in college tomorrow. I got a bunch of games on the 22nd. Go for it.
All right, go to the Z to A. We're going to do an over because that's just the most fun. What can I get for Kansas State, George Washington, Sam?
146.5.
I would enjoy thoroughly an over
Enjoy.
right there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Give me an over 146.5. 147 would actually be fine. It looks like I'm fine to 148. I like that over. I'm going to play that over. This isn't. This is more of a test. I'm curious to see what happens by let's say midnight tonight when people rewatch this. Are you weirdos who are watching Chicken Dinner, getting ready for football, going to move this too much? We can't talk about it. And if not, we'll continue on. But 146 over, that feels fine there.
I will be sweating this out tomorrow. Before we let you go, I will tell you exactly, since I already showed you my address almost, I will show you where I'll be tomorrow night if you'd like to come by and say hi. I will be at the Whiteout at the University of New Hampshire against number 5 Maine. It is sold out. There it is right there, buddy. November 22nd, 7 p.m. I am going up. It is a whiteout. It is the biggest rivalry, I'm being told, north of Boston, because we know that Boston University and Boston College is very big. But allegedly, Maine and New Hampshire is a wild hockey game. So I'm going to that. I will be now sweating because that game that you gave tips at 8 o'clock. So I will be firing my phone up and down all night as Kansas State and George Washington need to get over 146.5. It's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect
I don't know if
night.
I've even seen a college hockey game on TV. So that honestly, that sounds incredible. In the South, it's just football, basketball, basically.
Well, the ice
Nobody
melts
even goes
down there. Yeah, you can't do anything about it. Yeah.
No one even goes to baseball games around here. It's just basically football, and then it's like a divide by 4. So like football, divide by 4, you get your basketball audience. Divide by 4, you get your baseball audience. So divide by 10 more, and you'll probably get your hockey audience.
All right, buddy. I know you are doing your diligence here. You always do. You make us money, and you join us from always very, very interesting locations. But get back to dinner, mashed potato, like the guy in Scary Movie. Take my strong hand. That's an old reference that you probably won't get. But thank you for joining us.
I don't know it. Hey, I'll give you
Chris
one
Elliott.
shout, Sammy.
He's the butler with the hand. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't.
What's up?
Listen, I don't know much. If it's not college basketball, if it's not
sweet tea.
No, that's basically all I know. All right. One shout out, Sammy. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, so I'll put parentheses and you can fill it in. Sammy, this weekend, I'm real busy. I'm not into sports that much. Gives me insert player name information, which was a banger of the weekend, and I get insert wager that won in the third quarter. So shout out to Sammy. That's why we do the show. Y'all might give me praise for me coming on at 6:55, but Sammy behind the scenes, there's a reason we're all here. So shout out to you. That was keen information there.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thank you for the shout out. And thank you for being you. See you, man.
All right. See you.
All right. There goes Corbie. Follow on Twitter at CorbieBO. I can plow through these one more time real quick. The picks this week. I like Notre Dame a lot. I got to go back to the well, which is going to make people uncomfortable, but it is what it is. That number to me, and I had Notre Dame just north of 21 last week. They're up 35-0. Their defense to me is top 5 in the country. Army's a great story. Don't think Army's a great team. So like Notre Dame -14, Northwestern +10.5, Auburn +2.5, Cowboys +10.5, Colts +7.5, Eagles -3. Went on a nice run, 14-3, and then dumped 5 of the last 7 back. So still down a little bit for the season. It's been a weird year, 45-43, minus almost 2 units. Long way to go. Get to the playoffs, see what happens. And there's a nice comment from Rick. I follow you because you show your numbers. So many do not do that. Like that real quick. I appreciate it. So that's it. Thanks to Tom Casale. Thanks to Bob Lupton. Thanks to Corbie Craig. And most importantly, thanks to you cash some tickets, make some money. We'll talk to you next time. We will not, before I forget, we will not have a show on Thanksgiving. That should go without being said. So we'll talk to you the first week of December right here on Chicken Dinner.